Watch this.
The day after Idaho's major medical providers put a COVID vaccine mandate in place, you can expect some fallout from a drop like that. We're hearing from St. Luke's about what they're hearing. What we're hearing, well, there's still a lot of misinformation and concern when it comes to the vaccine. We have some numbers to help straighten it out. And how did the city in the middle of a dry, high desert get the nickname City of Trees? We can thank some French fur traders for that, and a tree farm that helps keep the namesake alive. Eagle Fun Days. Fun for humans, not so much for bulls. We're taking a look back at the Rocky Mountain oyster feed and why it's come back. 3 of Idaho health providers, including the largest private employer in the state, now requiring COVID vaccinations for their staff. St. Luke's, St. Al's, and Primary Health all made that announcement yesterday. What does that look like, for example, when it comes to St. Luke's, Idaho's largest private employer? Most of their staff, they told us, already vaccinated. But St. Luke's, which employs about 14,000 people, not all of them are doctors and nurses. Any company that big has lots of departments, you probably can imagine, from billing to HR to marketing, for example. And yesterday's decision has been met with some mixed reaction. Andrew Bartline spoke with executives at St. Luke's this morning about the impacts of this requirement. Andrew, what do we know about who within the health system has been vaccinated already?
Yeah, Brian, St. Luke says 80% of their staff is vaccinated, but you have to keep in mind, like you said, that includes everyone from doctors and nurses and people who work with patients, but also the custodial staff, people who work in records who aren't around patients. So we asked, but we couldn't get a detailed breakdown of that data, but we do know about the general trend. St. Luke's executive physician, Jim Souza, says that the closer a staff member works with patients, the more likely they are to be vaccinated. He says that's not a mere coincidence, and he attributes that trend to the experience that these employees have had while they're treating patients who have COVID.
The more direct exposure you've had to the illness, suffering, and death that is continuing to happen with this infection, the higher in general the vaccine numbers.
Now, if an employee wants an exemption, they have 2 options. St. Luke says they consider strong religious beliefs and also medical exemptions. Now, to get that medical exemption, you'd have to offer a reason which is then approved or denied by a group of clinicians. And coming up at 6 o'clock, we actually spoke with an employee at St. Luke's who doesn't expect to qualify for a religious or medical exemption, and he's concerned about his job, and other people in his shoes are feeling the same. Brian?
Well, that should be interesting. I was looking at the school immunization requirements, the exemption for the schools, much the same thing, religious or medical, but they don't have to go through approval process. You just have to have a letter from your doctor. All right, thank you very much, Andrew. All right, when this announcement was made yesterday, you can believe we heard all kinds of reasons why this shouldn't be allowed, why private companies should not be able to, well, tell their employees they have to get vaccinated or not work here. Well, let's start with the fear of COVID-19 vaccine side effects. We've seen so many references to the country's Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, or VAERS. But look at all the side effects being reported if you're on that website. It seems like a lot. And we've said it before, and we'll say it again. Adverse side effects are very, very rare when it comes to the coronavirus vaccine. And when it comes to the VAERS database, which was created by Congress in 1990 to help medical experts track any sort of issue that may come up with a vaccine. However, as we pointed out several times, it isn't exactly foolproof, and anyone can post to it, not just doctors or healthcare providers, which is how we get things like this. When a man from Indiana posted this last month about his reaction to the Pfizer vaccine that he got back in March. Under the adverse event description paragraph there, he wrote, severe headache, mild fever, moderate lethargy. Well, he also wrote, a third arm has grown out of my forehead and often slaps me when I'm trying to sleep. Are you reading this? He wrote. This is published in the VAERS data. It's just a starting point, not a rigorous study. Stop spreading conspiracy theories that rely on raw VAERS data. And this isn't new. According to a report by Vice, to show the unreliability of this system, a doctor posted to the site back in 2004 claiming another vaccine turned him into the Incredible Hulk. The CDC asked if they could remove that post, which they did, but had they not, it would still be there. VAERS does have its benefits, though. It is how they were able to detect a trend when it came to blood clots in the Johnson & Johnson vaccine a few months ago. And at the time, there were just 6 cases in millions of doses. The CDC says they confirmed 38 cases of blood clots out of 12.5 million doses, 12.6 million doses. That's just 0.0003%. And how about a chance of death? Certainly a serious concern when it comes to the coronavirus, or any vaccine for that matter. But those chances are extremely rare, and there has not been a direct link to the COVID vaccine, according to the CDC. The latest from their website, updated 2 days ago. More than 331 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine have been administered in the United States. Over that time span, VAERS has received 5,946 reports of death. However, a review of available clinical information, including death certificates, autopsy, and medical records, has not established a causal link to COVID-19 vaccines. And they make it clear these reports alone cannot be used to determine if a vaccine caused or contributed to an adverse event or an illness. The reports may contain information that is incomplete, inaccurate, coincidental, or unverifiable. Reports to VAERS are also voluntary and are subject to biases. But even if you took the VAERS reports at face value, if of the 331 million doses distributed and 5,946 people who have gotten the COVID vaccine have died, and there was a direct correlation to that inoculation, that would mean a 0.0018% chance of that happening. You have a greater chance of dying from actually getting COVID. In Idaho, that's a chance that's greater than 1%. More than 2,100 Idahoans have actually died from the actual virus. We're not trying to diminish any death, by the way, verified or otherwise. But considering these numbers, you do have a greater chance of dying from any preventable death. Things like smoking, drinking, diet, an STD. That's according to the National Safety Council. You have a 4.1% chance of dying from any of those things. You have just under a 1% chance of dying from a fall, just a slip, trip, and a fall. A car crash, just under that. You have a 0.35% chance of dying from a gunshot, even less of a chance by an accidental gunshot, but that's still a greater chance than the COVID vaccine. You have a better chance of choking on your food and dying than meeting your demise after getting a COVID shot. Sharp object there, 0.003%. In fact, the closest thing to COVID vaccine the National Safety Council says could get you, a cataclysmic storm. We also saw a lot of references yesterday to the Nuremberg Code, as in, you can't force me to put something in my body. Well, you can stop that in its tracks, because first of all, the Nuremberg Code, which came out of the Nuremberg military tribunals in 1947, those were the trials where 23 Nazi doctors were held accountable for crimes against humanity, because they were performing medical experiments on prisoners of concentration camps. The main edict of the Nuremberg Code is voluntary consent, which those heinous crimes obviously didn't have. But this get vaxxed or get axed policy was already tested in Texas. Last month, the judge dismissed a lawsuit where Houston Methodist employees were suing the hospital for making vaccinations a requirement. The judge made it clear in his ruling, or in his dismissal, this is protected and it's not coercion. The hospital is simply trying to do their business of saving lives without giving them the COVID-19 virus. It's a choice made to keep staff, patients, and their families safe. And as an at-will employer, like Idaho is an at-will state, a worker can be fired for simply refusing to come in early. That would be much the same thing. So maybe we could stop comparing COVID protocols to pretty much anything that happened in and around World War II. Maybe. But that certainly hasn't stopped our lieutenant governor from making this whole molehill a fight one that she would fight over. It took just one day after tweeting out that Idaho's major healthcare providers wouldn't make vaccines a requirement on my watch, Lieutenant Governor and candidate for governor Janice McGeachin tweeted out this letter asking House Speaker Scott Bedke to reconvene the Idaho legislature. She wants them, no, she is calling them to examine what she says is a very important issue, saying those who work for those medical companies shouldn't have to choose between getting a vaccine and keeping their job. Well, for one, she called it an experimental medical procedure. They've already tried this, remember? House Bill 63, introduced by COVID pandemic denier Representative Tammy Nichols during the last legislative session. Well, which is still kind of the current one, I guess. That one died on the vine in committee back in February. McGeachin's argument It would be a simple request since the House didn't sine die. They just went into an extended recess. But let's consider the relationships right now in Idaho State House and see if we can follow this. The current lieutenant governor, who is trying to unseat the current governor, is asking the current Speaker of the House, who's hoping to take over the current lieutenant governor's seat, to do her a political favor. This should be interesting to watch. Eagle Fun Days is back, and so is a fundraiser featuring Rocky Mountain oysters. What are those, you ask? Well, we have a close-up look at them and the ads that nearly cost them their time to shine. If you send it, we read it, but we only have time to read a few at the end of the show. Want your time to shine? Make it clever and concise, and if you must, controversial. Text us your thoughts about today's show, 208-321-5614. But make sure you include your name and the hashtag the 208.
You don't know anything. I hear you, people. Oh, I lost my job. I lost my wife. Who cares? They cut off my man junk and they ate it.
I am appalled. I am appalled and I'm frustrated, and I do not believe this is something that represents the city of Eagle.
And that wasn't even the worst one. Maybe you remember when the city of Eagle's Rocky Mountain oyster feed turned more than just some stomachs. Like when it turned some heads and stirred up some controversy with those ads. Brief history here. The oyster feed was a fundraiser for what was then the Eagle Volunteer Fire Department. It's the largest fundraiser of the year, and it was held in conjunction with Eagle Fun Days. Well, back in 2006, the nut feed was coming up on its 50th anniversary, so it's been around for a long time. And so the firefighters asked a New York ad agency to come up with a campaign to help them increase attendance. More people, more money. They created that spokes bovine there, who in 3 ads said some things that were a bit racy for 2006 and even for today, and took it too far, according to then Mayor Nancy Merrill. She even threatened to cancel the whole fundraiser, saying it didn't represent the family activity that it was supposed to be. At least the ads didn't anyway. Well, those ads, they never aired on TV, but they were on the event website until the mayor made them take them down. Those ads had nothing to do with the mountain oyster feed going away nearly a decade ago. We're going to get to that in just a moment. But the fundraiser is back this weekend. And maybe you're city folk, or maybe you're new to the area. But if you don't know what a Rocky Mountain oyster is, well, let's go back to 2005 and let the volunteer firefighters who were preparing them tell you all about it in today's Redial.
But it's just like, you know, peeling a potato. But it's not a potato.
Robert Ostalasa is helping to prepare food for the annual Eagle Fun Days, which features...
There's no other nice way to say it, but nuts.
Since the 1950s, the Eagle Fire Department has served them up as a fundraiser every year.
It's supposed to be the world's largest Rocky Mountain oyster feed, and that's what we call it.
But first, 1,800 pounds of...
The technical name is bull testicles.
...need to be cut and sliced.
They come frozen. And little moment of silence for this jewel here. You licensed to use that knife?
The expectation is the fire department will bring in $40,000 from the fundraiser.
That's a lot of bull.
Because people actually pay to eat slices of these things.
You know, people say they taste like chicken, they taste like veal. Well, to me, they just taste like meat.
And are prepared about the same way.
The real neat part of it is when we cook them. They'll have different types of cooks who put their own flavors in. They'll be Cajun, Oriental.
Robert has his own recipe.
I use different spices on them, hot sauces and different things.
It will take a couple of hours and at least 40 volunteers to get,
You can call them nuts.
ready for the weekend.
Once you get past this part of it, they do taste very good if you've had them before. They're very good.
Which is why these firefighters have stuck with this dish for so long.
They're a delicacy.
We could have done chicken to, you name it, we could have done chili even, you know, but this draws a lot of people, it really does.
In Eagle, Robbie Johnson.
It's just different.
Idaho's News Channel 7.
It is different. Rocky Mountain Oyster Feed carried on for a few more years from 2005. And when it separated itself from Eagle Fun Days, well, the attendance started to drop. And when Eagle Fire became, well, no longer volunteer, in 2015, there was no longer a need for the fundraiser. So this year, after more than 5 years of not feeding on nuts, it's back. And it's back in the Fun Days fold as well. But why? Well, this year marks the 50th anniversary of Eagle becoming a full-fledged city, so they wanted to celebrate it as such.
I've lived here for 20 years almost, and I'll tell you, it was a really exciting thing when I moved here to have that. It was just, it kind of a throwback to the old, you know, ranchers and the stuff that we so treasure about this valley, and, you know, from the farmers to the ranchers that have cattle and all those things. And I just think it really brings back some of that.
So you've been there 20 years. There's a lot of people who've been there as long, if not longer. What was the reaction from the community when you said we're bringing this back?
The folks that remember it were just so excited. And you know, the ones that are new to the community, you know, not knowing what it was and finding out what it was, thought, oh my God, this is really going to be cool. You know, it's something different. It's something you don't get in everywhere America. And, you know, that's what we love about Idaho, right? What makes things so much different and make things, you know, kind of odd and cool.
It is cool, and it's happening tomorrow at Merrill Park in Eagle from 5 to 10 p.m. It's for some perspective. They've got about 500 pounds of those Rocky Mountain oysters this year compared to around 2,000 pounds at the height of it. The funds they raise this year will going to benefit the Special Olympics Idaho, so it's a different recipient. And maybe you remember those years when what washed down those mountain oysters flowed like, well, the water in the Boise River. Well, another reason it became well known for sure. This year, though, your $30 ticket gets you just 2 beverages, and they're holding you to a 4-beer maximum. Still enough for you to head to Eagle this weekend and have a ball or two. There aren't too many trees out in the Idaho desert. There were enough to convince French traders to give Boise its name. We're taking you to the farm that gives the city the means to keep it that way. Whether you're on the east end, the north end, or some other end, you can always text the show. The number is 208-321-5614. Don't forget to include your name, where you're from, and, oh yeah, the hashtag, the 208. We're going to read a few at the end of the show. The City of Trees, nickname given to Idaho's capital city before it was even a city. As you probably have heard, the story goes, after trekking through the desert on the Oregon Trail, well, before it was even that, I believe, French fur trappers came upon the Boise River Valley. And when they saw the view from the high desert, they shouted, "Le bois, le bois," which translates roughly to the wood or the trees, which way you want to put it. The name stuck, but in the middle of a vast desert region, where did all those trees come from? There weren't as many then as there are now, that's for sure. Well, today at least, there's a small plot of land the city of Boise uses as an arboretum.
It's in a little bit of an obscure location. In fact, a lot of people don't know it's even located here.
What is here is kind of like the training ground for the City of Trees. The Boise City Arboretum, which sits appropriately on Warm Springs Avenue, not far from the home once owned by Laura Moore Cunningham. Why does Mrs. Moore matter to this nursery narrative? Well, she was the daughter of C.W. and Catherine Moore, well-known residents of Boise's early days. Born in 1869, when she wasn't volunteering her time, Laura liked to spend it in her garden. So when she died in 1963, her family donated several acres to the city, and that became this arboretum.
This last year, this tree grew from here to right here.
The farm has flourished as well.
We have about 600 trees in this nursery, and they are primarily used to replant in our parks and in our right-of-ways. So anytime a tree is removed in our park and right-of-way, we will use it. We also use it for new plantings as well.
They say variety is the spice of life, and it's essential to choosing trees. There are 200 different trees found in Boise. 50 to 75 varieties are grown here. But who tends to the trees?
I think a lot of our citizens aren't aware that we actually have a city forester, and by city code has jurisdiction over some 43,000 plus trees that we have in our inventory. So when you look at the city structure, we have a city attorney, we have a city engineer, and in Parks and Recreation, we also have a city forester.
This is a sugar maple.
Meat?
Super popular. People love sugar maples, and they do pretty well here.
Mike Andrews, a metropolitan, non-literary Lorax, if you will.
We are essentially the stewards of the trees. We manage the trees. We prune them. We remove them. We inspect trees. We plant trees. We grind stumps. And we just field questions day to day that the public has about trees.
Like, where are Boise's trees born?
We get all of our trees here from the Willamette Valley area in Oregon. So we get them here, we plant them in the nursery. They live here for about 3 to 5 years. Then we see that they're ready to go to be planted out in the public right away.
So when there's a new city park or an old tree that's near the end of its life, Mike heads over to the Arboretum for a replacement.
Improving our canopy in the city of Boise is extremely important, and our city isn't a young city anymore, and so what grows up with your community is also your vegetation, and so our trees are getting older. Our canopy is reducing a little bit because of the fact that we have an older tree canopy throughout the city.
So even our trees come from out of state. Well, last year Boise City Council launched the City of Trees Challenge, hoping to plant 100,000 trees in 10 years by the year 2030. That would mean a tree for essentially every house within the city limits of Boise, according to Doug Holloway. But that would also extend outside of town. Part of the City of Trees Challenge is planting 235,000 seedlings in the forests that surround Boise. So if you have planted a tree within the last year, or you are planning to plant a tree within Boise city limits, they want you to log it, not cut it down, but put it down on their website to help get that 100,000 trees goal. That website can be found on ours in this story at ktvb.com.
Hopefully this brief break has been beneficial to you. It's sort of shaving the edge off the heat a touch because it is back for the weekend in a big way. We are back to the triple-digit temperatures for the Treasure Valley. An excessive heat warning has been posted for the region once again. So trying to beat the heat to head up in elevation, well, yeah, it helps a little bit, but it's still hot even in our mountain valleys. A lot of sunshine as dry conditions continue. A look at that 7-day forecast, which of course you can always find the freshest forecast at ktvb.com. We'll be right back.
All right, let's quickly get to your comments. I like this one because of the Shakespearean reference. The triangle between the governor, lieutenant governor, and the speaker, Shakespeare's Othello revisited. Instead of love, though, it's power, logic. Those are the issues. Rocky Mountain Oyster ad campaign is the best campaign never aired. Nancy Merrill seems a little testy. I'm just going to end on that one.